Well, I think he's rolling dice.
Today I'm going to be giving away a free t-shirt, asking and answering questions, bringing you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown, concluding the Black Panther Comicology 101 series, talking comics, and of course, comic books I bought this week. Hey y'all, I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Coming to you from Clint's Comics here in Monroe, Louisiana. And congratulations to the Pittsburgh Penguins. They won the Stanley Cup on Sunday by defeating the San Jose Sharks in 6 games. And I made a Pittsburgh Penguins themed Comic Hero tee, and to go along with it, this Pittsburgh Penguins hat. And Sidney Crosby was named the Stanley Cup MVP, so congratulations to Mr. Crosby, and congratulations to the head coach Mike Sullivan, the coaches, the players, the organization, and the city of Pittsburgh as a whole. All right, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, last week's question I asked, who played the role of Rocksteady in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows? Well, the correct answer, well, there's actually 2 answers to that question, and here's why. Because the correct answer is either Sheamus or Stephen Farley. Now let me explain why. Now Sheamus is a WWE wrestler. His real name, of course, is Stephen Farley. So now one person said Stephen Farley and about 2 other people said Sheamus. So I accepted either one. And so 3 people answered correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and draw their names. So the winner of the free Comic Hero tee for this episode is the Professor Nick Harrison from West Monroe, Louisiana. So congratulations, Nick. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. For those of y'all who don't know, Nick Harrison once hosted the greatest 1 hour of sports radio in the world. And I'm talking about this show called Halftime. And he's now a school teacher in Monroe. And he and his son watched the show, and so again, you win a tee. All right, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is an easy one. This is a very easy one. Now, next month, DC is going to acknowledge the 75th anniversary of Wonder Woman. Who created Wonder Woman? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in the drawing for a free Comic Hero tee in next week's episode. So, I gotta ask, any questions? All right, I have one question for this week, and it's from Brandon Ringo, aka the Evil Twin from West Monroe, Louisiana. He asks, since you're wearing a Pittsburgh Penguins themed Comic Hero tee, who do you think would score the most goals on each other? Mario Lemieux in his prime, or Sidney Crosby in his prime? See that Pittsburgh Penguins theme music? It's about to get lit. All right, here's who I think. Now, first off, you have to take Mario Lemieux, who had a very, very, very long NHL career, a very storied NHL career. Scored a lot of goals, went to a lot of All-Star games, even played for the Canadian national team during the off-season and for the Olympics, Winter Olympics, that is. Same thing for Sidney Crosby. Although he is still active in the NHL. However, you also have to keep in consideration what their nicknames are. Mario Lemieux's nickname, Super Mario. Sidney Crosby's nickname, Sid the Kid. And then one other thing you have to keep in consideration. When Sidney Crosby first came into the NHL, his first few seasons in the league, guess whose house he stayed in? Mario Lemieux's, that's right. And then eventually, he had to branch out on his own. So, never bite the hand that feeds you. Mario Lemieux. All right, that's it for any questions. And if anyone has any questions for future episodes, contact info is down there. All right, now Tony Kunda from right here in Monroe, Louisiana has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight that is very mystical. And Amanda, you'll really appreciate this one.
I really.
Yeah. Representing DC, we have The Question. And also representing DC, we have The Phantom Stranger. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's The Question versus The Phantom Stranger. The Question is one of the world's most foremost martial artists and hand-to-hand combatants, and is also an urban shaman, proficient acrobat, master detective who possesses genius-level intelligence and knowledge of possible events in the past, present, and future. The Phantom Stranger possesses near-limitless magic manipulation, immortality, omniscience, and vast reality control. Who will win? Get ready for a bumpy ride because everything will change except them. This fight will primarily consist of magic, with The Question being an urban shaman and the Phantom Stranger being a master magician. Thinking he has the upper hand, The Question relies on his fighting skills. This proves not to work very well considering the Phantom Stranger's immortality. After minutes on end, the Phantom Stranger tells The Question, "Look around us. Instead of beating each other up, we're tearing up this world. We've got to stop this." He then calls a truce with The Question. Just as they are extending hands to each other, the Phantom Stranger surprises The Question with a lethal heart punch. He then alters reality back to the way it was. The Phantom Stranger wins. And that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown, and if anyone has requests for a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown in future episodes, contact info is down there. Now, here's the conclusion to the Comicology 101 segment on Black Panther. Now, 2 weeks ago, I started out doing the creation and the powers of the Black Panther, and last week I talked about the publication history. In this one, I'm going to be talking about the character's history. So, ladies and gentlemen, class is now in session. Welcome back to the Comicology 101 series of the Black Panther. Today I'll conclude by talking about the fictional character history of the character. The Black Panther is a ceremonial title given to the chief of the Panther tribe of the advanced African nation of Wakanda. In addition to ruling the country, he is also chief of its various tribes, collectively referred to as the Wakandas. The Panther habit is a symbol office, head of state, and is used even during diplomatic missions. The Panther is a hereditary title, but one still must earn it. In the distant past, a meteorite made of the vibration-absorbing mineral called vibranium crashed in Wakanda, and it was unearthed. Reasoning that outsiders would exploit Wakanda for this valuable resource, the ruler King T'Chaka, like his father and other Panthers before him, concealed his country from the outside world. T'Chaka's first wife, Naomi, died in labor while T'Challa and his second wife, Ramonda, were taken prisoner by Anton Pretorius during a visit to her homeland of South Africa, so for most of his childhood, T'Challa was raised by his father alone. T'Chaka was murdered by the adventurous Ulysses Klaue in an attempt to seize the vibranium mound. With his people still in danger, a young T'Challa used Klaue's sound weapon on Klaue and his men, shattering his right hand and forcing him to flee. T'Challa was next in line to be the king of Wakanda and Black Panther, but until he was ready to become the leader of the nation, his uncle Sion, T'Chaka's younger brother, successfully passed the trials to become the Black Panther. While on his Wakandan walkabout rite of passage, T'Challa met and fell in love with an apparent orphan teen, Ororo Monroe, who would grow up to become the X-Men member Storm. The two broke off the relationship due to his desire to avenge his father's death and to become the type of man who could suitably lead Wakanda, but they would see each other over the years when they could. T'Challa earned the title and attributes of the Black Panther by defeating the various champions of the Wakanda tribes. One of his first acts was to disband and exile the Hatut Zarazi, the Wakandan secret police, and its leader, his adopted brother, Hunter the White Wolf. He sold off small portions of vibranium to scientific institutions around the world, amassing a fortune which he used to arm himself with advanced technology. Later, to keep peace, he picked the Dora Milaje, adored ones, from rival tribes to serve as his personal guard and ceremonial wives in training. He then studied abroad for a time before returning to his kingship. In his first published appearance, the now adult T'Challa invites the American superhero team, the Fantastic Four, to Wakanda, then attacks and neutralizes them individually in order to test himself to see if he is ready to battle Klaw, who had replaced his shattered right hand with a sonic weapon. After the ruler makes proper amends to the superhero team, the four befriend and help T'Challa, and he in turn aids them against the supervillain Psycho Man. T'Challa later joins the Avengers, beginning a long association with that superhero team. He first battles the Man-Eat while with the group, and then meets the American singer Monica Lynn, with whom he becomes romantically involved with. He helps the Avengers defeat the second Sons of the Serpent, and then reveals his true identity on American television. He encounters Daredevil, and reveals to him that he had deduced Daredevil's true identity. The Panther eventually leaves his active Avengers membership to return to a Wakanda on the brink of civil war, bringing Lynn with him. After defeating the would-be usurper Eric Killmonger and his minions, the Panther ventures to the American South to battle the Ku Klux Klan. He later gains possession of the mystical time-shifting artifacts known as King Solomon's Frogs. These produce an alternate version of T'Challa from a future 10 years, hence a merry telepathic panther with a terminal brain aneurysm, whom T'Challa places in cryogenic stasis. Later, while searching for and finding his stepmother Ramonda, the Panther contends with South African authorities during apartheid. T'Challa eventually proposes and becomes engaged to Monica Lynn, though the couple never marry. That's it for today. Next week, I'll conclude. Class dismissed. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the conclusion to the Black Panther Comicology 101 series. And I really had a lot of fun doing that series, folks. I think that's the... now, 2 years ago... if y'all are wondering who's holding this lightsaber, that is my good friends Alex and Amanda Heckler's 3-year-old daughter Maddie, and she's trying to test it. Now off camera a few minutes ago, I quoted a line from Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope that was said by Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I said, "Strike me down, and I shall become powerful than you could ever, more powerful than you ever could imagine." And I think she's trying to test that theory right now. But anyway, but I had a lot. I always have a lot of fun doing research on various comics characters, and if any of y'all have a character y'all want me to do a Comicology 101 segment, I will do one, but allow me a month to do it because folks, that's how long it took me to do this. Anyway, contact info is down there if you want me to do it, but allow me a month, and then I'll do it for an entire month. All right, now then, it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! All right, I'm only going to talk about one thing. And folks, y'all are going to be very happy. I finally got around to see X-Men Apocalypse. That's right. I finally got around to see X-Men Apocalypse. I saw it a few days ago, and that movie did not disappoint. Casting was great, music was great, script was beyond amazing. Although somebody once said that Jubilee's character was kind of, that somebody made an analogy about the character Jubilee, They said that Jubilee in that movie was to X-Men in X-Men Evolution. I mean X-Men Apocalypse was to Meg Griffin and Family Guy. And rightfully so, because she was very insignificant in that movie. I mean, she didn't even use her powers. But then again, Jubilee overall is kind of an insignificant character, you know, even in terms of her powers, because all she does is shoot off fireworks. I mean, heck, Dazzler who has powers that are somewhat similar to hers, is a lot more significant than she is.
Y'all do some stuff. I don't know if you guys would want to do
Just saying. But other than that, I mean, I don't want to spoil too much for you because, you know, the movie has been out for some time. And, but one of my favorite scenes was the Quicksilver saving everyone from the exploding Xavier scene. And not so much, and it wasn't really so much that scene, but the song that was being played, and I'm not really going to give that away. But y'all really need to go out and see that movie. And it also explains how Professor X loses his hair, and it's not how you think. And let's just say he does not shave his hair. All right, that's it for any questions. I mean, comically speaking, folks. I'm sorry, folks. That's it for comically speaking. Now then, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Invincible Iron Man number 10. And now, as of late, Tony Stark has been trying his hardest to hire Mary Jane Watson at Stark Industries. And it has not been easy. She has been trying to back out time and time again. And Tony has been saying, no, I really need you. And I mean, he's been all kinds of hell-bent to do so ever since Pepper walked out on him. And he knows that he can't really depend on an AI. When I'm talking, I mean Friday, to do it. So he actually needs an actual person. And in this issue, he finally gets it done. Oh, and also, it's also a Civil War II tie-in. All right, next up is Batman number 1. This is the first issue of the current Batman series after Rebirth. And in this one, we meet a new character in the book named Gotham. And I'm very, very, very excited about reading this. And also, it's going to be written by Tom King with art by David Finch. Now, David Finch has been on the scene for a little over 15 years. I mean, he's penciled books like Ultimate X-Men and recently Wonder Woman, and he's also no stranger to the Dark Knight. All right, next up is Titans Rebirth. Now, the band is back together. Well, almost. I mean, on here you see Arsenal, Nightwing, Donna Troy, and Tempest. Now, I mean, these are some of the original Titans from the original DC universe, but then there's one person who's missing, Wally, and that's only because they don't remember him, and from what my guess is that he's going to try to reconnect with them, but it's probably going to seem like he's going to be a villain. I really don't know, but I can't wait to read to find out more. All right, up next is Guardians of Infinity number 5. Now what's going on in this book? It's Rocket, Groot, and Drax, and they pretty much have teamed up with two other teams of Guardians from different timelines of the Marvel universe, and not only that, but different galaxies at that. And they're all after one threat. and they are all and they're all continuing to go after this threat. And also some pretty cool backstories at that. All right, next up is All New Inhumans number 6. Now this book, this is the other Inhumans book. The other book, of course, being Uncanny Inhumans. Now Black Bolt and Medusa are the team leaders of that book. This book, the team leader is Crystal, and this is like the younger, hipper. These are the younger, hipper Inhumans, and Crystal and they're pretty much where if the Uncanny Inhumans are pretty much the guys that eliminate the threats, and this is pretty much the peacekeepers, or is it the other way around? It's kind of hard to tell when I've read both of these books, because they pretty much do both of the same. All right, next up is our 2 books. All New X-Men number 9 and All New X-Men number 10. Now this book has 4 of the 5 original X-Men in it, and it also has the All New Wolverine, previously known as X-23, and then Edie Okonkwo and then Evan, aka Genesis, previously known as Apocalypse. And they're teenagers, and they're teenage X-Men, and they're trying to find their place in the world, and be teenagers, all that. What else is new? All right, next up is Guardians of the Galaxy number 8. Now previously, Kitty Pryde actually Rocket Raccoon was the leader of the Guardians, but then they found out, mainly because Star-Lord, well, the former Star-Lord, well, then he was, Peter Quill was the king of Spartax, until the Kree decided they wanted to punish him for what his father, Jason of Spartax, had done during his rule. And he said, okay, I can't do this anymore. I am now the leader of the Guardians. And now they're going up against the Skrulls. All right, next up is Uncanny Inhumans number 6. Now, as of late, Black Bolt has taken a leave of absence from the team in order to open a casino? Yeah. And now it's found out that Black Bolt has ended up on the bad end of the casino business. Yeah. Then next up is Extraordinary X-Men number 9. This is part 2 of the Apocalypse War story arc in this book, and it's not looking good, folks. Now, in this team of X-Men, it's Logan, Colossus, Marvel Girl, in other words, the Jean Grey from the younger Jean Grey, not the Jean Grey that's not the other Jean Grey. That one's deceased. Storm, Nightcrawler, and Magic. All right, next up is New Avengers number 12. This is a Civil War tie-in, and Civil War 2 tie-in. I forgot. Civil War 2, not Civil War. That other Civil War was 2006, 2007. But anyway, the New Avengers, formerly known as, also known as AIM, aka Avengers Idea Mechanics, have joined the fray, and not sure exactly what side of the Civil War they're on, because I've yet to read Civil War 2 number 1. But I'll let you know what happens in a future episode. And then finally, and I'm very excited about this book, Green Lanterns number 1. Now this book stars Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz. Now they're both Green Lanterns, and they're both now they really don't like each other. That's the messed up thing. But they have to get to now they got to get used to each other, however, because they found out that they have to protect, because not only do they have to protect Earth, but they found out that that Bleeze from the Red Lanterns is out to take over not only Earth, but the entire universe. So just when they thought that the Red Lanterns were null and void, think again. All right, that's 12 I bought, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 7,382. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Really had a lot of fun with this one. Good episode, very good episode. But and I feel like that's every episode that I do every week. Hope y'all enjoyed the Black Panther Comicology 101 segment, and I wanted to do that to so that way y'all could better prepare yourselves for the Black Panther movie that's going to be coming out in theaters in about 2 years. And I think, and while I was doing this episode, I think that I may do a Captain Marvel Comicology 101 somewhere down the line, because there's also going to be a Captain Marvel movie coming out next year. Now, Brie Larson has showed interest in wanting to play the lead role. Now, my feelings about how I feel about that, well, that's none of my business, because after all, I'm not a casting director, so I just watch the movie. So, a casting director's cast, I watch. All right. Oh, and here's the question for next week's episode. Now, and it's simple. Will, if you want to answer this question off camera, you are more than welcome to. Now, next month, DC is going to acknowledge the 75th anniversary of Wonder Woman. Who created Wonder Woman? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free Comic Hero tee. And then also, I wouldn't be remiss if I didn't say anything about the tragic shootings that happened in a club in Orlando last weekend. My thoughts and prayers go out to the families of those who were murdered, and my thoughts and prayers go out to those who were injured. Such a sad situation, folks. And I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to go ahead and say this. But I believe that the only people who should be allowed to kill someone are folks who they're either police officers in self-defense, and any man and woman who serve in any of the 5 branches of the U.S. military. That's just what I believe. All right, next week's episode. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what kind of shirt I'm going to wear, but it's going to be a great episode, nonetheless. And also, when you are done watching this episode, I encourage you, whether you're watching the link, whether you're watching this from, if you're watching the link from Facebook, from Twitter, from Instagram, or from Tumblr, share the link. I encourage you. I mean, this is the 117th episode, and like I've said before, I'm going to keep doing this show until I am physically unable to. All right, good show. Had a lot of fun. Come on back. Let's do this again. All right, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. See you next week right back here at Clint's Comics for episode 118. So till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and go Penguins. Today I'm going to be giving away a free T-shirt. Going to be answering a blooper reel. Today I'm going to be giving away a free T-shirt, asking and answering a question, concluding the Black Panther Comicology 101 series, talking comics, and of course, and I forgot the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown, so that's another blooper reel. Oh, dang it.
I don't have anybody specific.
All right, first up is Invincible Iron Man number 10. Now, as of late, blooper reel.